the Tina Divine Show, where I give you the realest, where we are the realest. So I give you the realest real estate information out there. I do not like to hold back. I like to be honest. I like to be upfront. And I like to look at things from all sides. I come in to provide you with factual, tactical information that you can use to get from point A to point B and back, or keep moving, keep moving forward. I like to look at things from multiple sides, not just from the side that benefits me, but from the other side, the opposite side. And I have a extended amount of information on real estate, and I want to share that information. So welcome to the Tina Divine Show. Today we are talking about housing. New York City is the largest city in our country based on population. New York City has more people living per capita than any other part of our country. And New York City most definitely have a housing crisis. Now, one of the crazy parts about the housing crisis in New York City is that part of it is affordability, right? Rents are sky high in New York. But another part of it is, in my opinion, greed. And it's not coming from who you may think it's coming from. So remember this. Let's take a short trip down memory lane. This was, I want to say 2 years ago, 2024.
It's being called the biggest bribery bust in U.S. history. Briella, that's saying a lot. Good morning.
Oh, it absolutely is, Dan. Good morning to you. So federal agents picked up 65 of those 70 defendants across 6 different states, including every single borough here in New York City. Now, prosecutors say they took advantage of something called a no-bid process to set their own prices, which included bribes and kickbacks.
The 70 current and former NYCHA staff members charged today in separate bribery schemes touch every borough of New York City and nearly 1/3 of NYCHA's 335 housing developments.
Dozens of current and former New York City Housing Authority employees were led away in handcuffs in what's being called the largest single-day bribery takedown in the history of the Justice Department. They're now facing federal corruption charges in connection with a pay-for-play scheme.
We allege the 70 defendants charged today allegedly demanded over $2 million in bribe money from contractors in exchange for giving out over $13 million of work on NYCHA buildings.
This complaint states that instead of using the money to repair tenants' apartments, the NYCHA employees pocketed it themselves. The alleged bribery scheme started in 2013 and continued for 10 years.
Take note of that. It started in 2013 and continued for 10 years. So from 2013 to 2023, apartments were not getting renovated. The supers and assistant supers were pocketing the money that was supposed to be paid to contractors, or they were paying contractors little money while pocketing the bulk of the money for themselves, and apartments were sitting vacant. Apartments are just sitting vacant. Apartments that just need renovations so new tenants can move in, but instead they were sitting vacant.
The 70 defendants were charged with accepting cash payments in exchange for repair work and other contractual jobs across almost 100 buildings in the 5 boroughs. Prosecutors say contractors who didn't dish out extra cash were cut out of a job.
I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Carmen Quinones serves as president of the Frederick Douglass houses on Manhattan's Upper West Side. She says many apartments are in desperate need of repair, work that should have been done years ago.
How many times did I go to City Hall asking where the money is at, why the repairs are not getting done?
Officials say the contracts were no-bid jobs valued at under $10,000 meant to speed up the repair process. Superintendents and assistant superintendents are accused of taking advantage of that process because they had the power to choose which contractor was awarded the gig. Anyone else who may have been involved is being urged to come forward.
So now they're asking other people if you were involved in this whole bribery scam to come forward. You can avoid prosecution. Just turn yourself in or say what you were doing as part of this whole debacle. But my thing is, this is a problem with management. This is a problem with individuals having too much freedom to pick and choose. Superintendents shouldn't be picking and choosing who get the job. There should be some sort of conflict of interest between the superintendent and the contractor. Like, why didn't no one foresee that this would become a problem, given that individuals who are doing the direct hiring to have these apartments renovated are also negotiating prices and costs? Why did anyone else see that, Houston, we have a problem here? So right now we have a situation where there's tens of thousands of individuals who are waiting on housing. These are people who are living in shelters, individuals with children living in shelters. Some of those shelters are not the safest place for children, but individuals are stuck. They have no other place to go. And at the same time, NYCHA has a ton of apartments that are sitting vacant, waiting on renovations. Now, for the record, I do understand that these big buildings, these big apartment buildings, take a lot to maintenance. And a lot of these apartment buildings were created during a time when chemicals that are unsafe for humans were used. Asbestos, lead, formaldehyde, all of these type of chemicals are dangerous for us, but they were used, a lot of times they were used as fire preventative ingredients into the materials that were used to build the apartments. Later on, they found out that, lead is unsafe to be in apartments. Asbestos can cause cancer. Formaldehyde can have skin irritants, or it can irritate your skin or get into your eyes or whatever. It can injure you, right? And these are these were chemicals that were used in the building materials. We know now that they are dangerous, and we know that these older apartments still contain a lot of these chemicals. Yes, it takes time to rid an apartment of these dangerous chemicals, but it shouldn't take a year. It should not take a year for NYCHA to renovate an apartment and make it available for the new tenant. Watch this little clip here.
Investigative reporter Dan Croft has been working on this for years. And so the question is, why now? Why can't these people who want the apartments get into these open apartments?
Well, these are apartments that people moved out of and have to be renovated before new people can move in. We got a behind the scenes look at why the city says it's happening and what it means for thousands of families in New York.
I don't know what else to do.
Betty Bernhardt joined the wait list for a NYCHA apartment in 2016. I first met her during the pandemic.
It feels like I'm walking on eggshells right now.
It will give you security.
Oh, yes, and a peace of mind.
That was her back then.
Yeah, it's been a minute I've seen you.
It's been a minute. And this is her today. She's still on the list. Still no apartment a decade later.
How long is that? I may not even live till you decide to say, okay, we got you an apartment. No, that's not right.
The city operates hundreds of buildings like this, full of affordable housing units. But Betty's one of more than 150,000 people on the wait list to get one.
Listen, I mean, I almost gave up on them. Like, I really gave up on it.
Meanwhile, the number of NYCHA apartments sitting empty continues to rise. When I first reported on this issue, NYCHA had 4,800 vacant apartments. Last year, the number jumped to 5,900. And right now, there are more than 6,200 empty apartments.
It's utterly mind-blowing. I mean, we're sending rockets to the moon, and we can't seem to turn around a NYCHA apartment.
The average time to turn around an apartment from an old resident to a new one, almost a year. So this is a freshly vacant.
Why is it taking 1 year? 1 year to turn over an apartment. And you got to think, every apartment isn't in the most distressed situation. Every apartment isn't a full gut job. Some of these apartments probably just need new cabinets, new appliances, and a fresh coat of paint. Why is it taking on average? At one point, it was over 400 days. It was over a year. So now, like, that's the part that doesn't make sense. And that's the part that I say is due to mismanagement. There's no other answer but mismanagement.
Freshly vacant, yes.
The head of property management operations for NYCHA took me into a unit someone just moved out of to show me why.
The ceiling doesn't look good. No, this will have to be fully scraped and then repaired.
He says this is what is typically left behind.
This looks like it needs a bit of work. It does, yes, it does.
The buildings are old. The first thing they do, test for lead paint on the walls and asbestos under the floor tiles. Results that can take months to get back.
So they literally physically will remove the layers of paint.
You guys were doing lead and asbestos work years ago. Why was the number of vacancies lower then compared to now? Has something changed?
So we weren't doing it as comprehensively.
Said the city standards for removal are stricter than the federal government's.
We can't give these cabinets to a new resident moving in. These are damaged.
Multiple skilled trade workers have to finish the rest.
A lot of our buildings are plaster. Plaster is kind of a specialized trade. We don't use a lot of sheetrock at NYCHA, so that we literally are rebuilding walls.
The end result, a newly renovated apartment like this. They've shaved some time off of the turnaround rates. It used to be 400 days.
But we are every day working here extremely hard to get these apartments online for families.
And it's hard.
But for those looking for an affordable place to live during a housing crisis, it's not soon enough.
Now, I understand that they have to renovate it because of the repair issues, but they have to stop pushing people that are on that list to get it. They do it little, but not enough.
The city says internal transfers are also holding up the process. More than half of the available units go to someone who's moving from one NYCHA apartment to another. So once the person moves in, they then have to renovate the old apartment as well. So Mike and Sade, the cycle then continues.
Wow. Who would have thought that Betty would have to wait?
This doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. And like the lady said, yes, we get that apartments have to be renovated. And I understand from a real estate perspective that asbestos, especially asbestos has to be removed in a particular way. And you have to hire an asbestos specialist to do the removal. And I think they go through a state licensing process. It can take some time because they got to do testing. They send the testing to a facility. The facility has to do the testing and then send back the results. Once the technical person get the results, then they know how much asbestos and whatever is in the apartment, the chemicals. But even if the testing and the remediation takes 4 months, it still shouldn't take you another 8 months to do the painting, the plumbing, the electrical work. We're not talking about mansions. We're talking about maybe an 800 square foot apartment, 1,000 square feet, probably the most of maybe 1,300 square feet. Why is it taking over 365 days to renovate a 1,000 square foot apartment? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think that this is due to mismanagement. If you do the math, the whole bribery thing was going on for 10 years, 2013 to 2023. 2024, they did the crackdown on the bribery thing and they arrested the people in 2024. In 2025, all of a sudden, apartments are getting renovated faster. It went from over 400 days down to less than 300 and something days. I don't think it's a coincidence that once they busted up this whole bribery thing, that apartments started being renovated faster. I think if they had proper management, you had people who are doing their job, things would get done even faster. If you've ever had to deal with housing, I've dealt with housing from a Section 8 perspective. Section 8 is a section of housing that gives out vouchers to renters, and it helps to subsidize their income. Anytime I had to deal with the Section 8 office, It's never a smooth process. You're dealing with people who sometimes can be unprofessional. Sometimes they seem like they lack competency. Like it's like there's something that's not connecting here. Like I don't think that they understand how important their job is. You have people whose homes, whose livelihood is up in the air until you get your act together. I don't think that people who work for housing understand the significance of their job. They are sometimes in between a person being housed and a person being unhoused because of their function, their job. I knew last year I was dealing with Section 8 about something else, and it was holiday time. And I just knew that they wasn't going to respond because they probably was having a holiday party. You know, I think that individuals who work in housing or individuals who provide services for housing should be on top of their jobs, and they need proper supervision. They need supervisors who are on top of them, supervisors who understand the importance of them getting their job done quickly. It does not make sense for NYCHA to have over 6,000 vacant apartments when you have 150,000 people needing housing. That makes zero sense at all. What's your opinion on this? Do you think housing is doing the best that they can under the conditions? Those apartment buildings are old. Those apartment buildings are filled with chemicals and toxic elements that could make people sick. Do you think that a year is a sufficient amount of time for them to take to renovate an apartment, ensuring that the apartment is healthy? Personally, I don't think so. But what's your opinion on the matter? Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.